Max.
Hiya, how are you?
I am very well. First of all, congratulations on being absolutely fabulous in this film.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
You talked about how this movie was your first professional job in anything, film, TV, or theater. So, was acting something you'd been thinking about doing? When did the desire to even do this happen?
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be an actor. And I suppose I really sort of felt serious about maybe taking it as a career when I finished college, which was, I think maybe finishing, I was about 18, so maybe that's like high school age in America. I'm not really sure about the difference between the educations, but
Yeah.
yeah, I did like drama and theatre studies and music, and I was like picking my subjects, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to drama school. I wanted to go to drama school and to study musical theatre because I loved singing and I love acting, and I wanted to like do so. I didn't want to give up either. Um, and then I didn't get into any drama schools that I wanted to go to that year when I auditioned. And I then took a place on a foundation course where I was for a year. And that's where I truly sort of began sort of my craft and learning about the industry. And that's where it all really started for me.
When you started auditioning for this, what were you thinking? I mean, were you thinking that, okay, I have a shot at this, I could get this? Were you thinking there's no way in hell that I'm going to get this, so I'm just going to go for it? Like, what were you thinking about it when you started auditioning?
I wasn't getting this role in my head. There was no way. I knew that they'd seen thousands of people already. I knew that they were still seeing lots and lots of people, and I didn't have an agent. A movie for me in my second year of college at the time felt so unattainable and so far from reality. Um, so I literally I was auditioning thinking, oh, I'm just going to use this as experience. I'm just going to be open. I'm going to get to like meet a really cool British and American. Oh, he's British, but he's worked in America a lot. Amazing theatre director in Jonathan Butterell, and just use it as an experience. And it wasn't until really they offered me the job that I realised what was going on, and I was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna have to do this now.
What was that moment? How did they tell you? How did you react? Did you think somebody was pranking you? Like, how did that go?
Well, yeah, it definitely felt like an episode of like the Prank Patrol, or I don't know what the American equivalent is, but I was in. I'd worked with Jonathan, the director, Shaheen Beg, the casting director, and Kat Marshall, our associate producer, all day. We were meeting loads of potential deans, who's Jamie's, um, the guy who bullies Jamie in the film, um, and it got to the end of the day, and Jonathan was like, "Ah, Max, I don't think we've got what we need out of the scene. Would you mind doing some improvisation?" And I was like, okay. This is where I'm gonna lose the job. This is where like they're gonna realize that I'm not good. And you do all of these things in your head where you're like, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. Anyway, we launch into the scene. The sneaky associate producer Kat is filming me, and I didn't realize. And Jonathan launches into the scene. We do the scene, and he just says, "How would you feel if I offered you the role of Jamie?" And everybody's talking about Jamie, and I think Jonathan said I didn't, and apparently I jumped around the room, and I was like, craziness, and then I definitely remember calling my mum, but I remember so clearly pausing for what felt like an eternity and being just aghast and like not believing it. Yeah.
What sort of pressure and responsibility did you feel taking on this character? It's the title character, you're leading this film. What is that like? And what is the first day on set like?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I felt a lot of pressure, but our amazing production company in Warp Films and Film 4 put an amazing team around me to make sure that I was, guided so carefully and through the process of, prepping my sides and making sure I knew what to expect on when I came on set. But my first day, which I don't think anyone could prepare me for, was with Richard E. Grant, Oscar-nominated actor. You're turning up to set, and we filmed like one of the Section 28 marches was our first day, so it was like a big crowd day, and it was really daunting. And I don't think anyone can truly prepare you for that moment. I don't think any amount of training, any amount of people telling you what the experience is going to be like can prepare you for being in the moment, on set, the moment before the AD calls action or the director calls action, and you have to just roll with it. And it took a while for me to, you know, get into the flow of what my working day would feel like. But what I would say is that I just try to really enjoy it and just be in the moment every second, every time, yeah.
I love the relationship between Jamie and Hugo. And I mean, what was it like to explore that, to have Richard E. Grant as a scene partner, to really get to play with him? Because that character also just seems so playful.
Yeah, I mean, Richard as well is also so playful and fun. So he was amazing, and working with him was so great. And we got to do it so early on in the shoot as well. And that was, whilst I was going through my crash course of filmmaking, I was also able to do that with like a really super amazing actor that was so generous. And I remember we shot, it was like in the first week, the scene towards the end of the movie with me and Richard in the shop, which is like quite an emotionally charged scene. And we hadn't filmed lots of the stuff leading up to that. And I remember Richard giving just as much, if not more, when he was behind the camera and not being shot. And taught me so much about you being generous and just being there to listen.
One of my favorite moments in this, even though there are a lot of great moments in this film, but one of my favorite moments is the song that Jamie and his mom sing together. What was it like to shoot that, to really get to look into each other's eyes and sing that song? It's such a beautiful moment.
It was really emotional, actually. I think anyone can relate to a moment in their life where they've pushed away someone who loves them out of going, when someone's going through their own struggles, pushing away someone who's, you know, just trying to be there for them. And again, Sarah is an amazing actor, and I just truly connected with her in that moment. And I mean, the music is so gorgeous, and Dan Gillespie Sales and Tom, who wrote this music, just the music soars, and it's like such an intimate moment. And to share that with Sarah was really lovely. And again, another moment that I felt was that I'll cherish and it will stay with me forever is just, you know, allowing myself to pour my own heart into these characters. And that was a moment truly where I felt like I was pouring lots of myself into the role.
I've been a dancer since I was 4, but I am also one of the clumsiest people ever. So I can have great appreciation for anyone who can wear heels like this.
I'm also very clumsy too.
Yeah, I'm the worst. It's that whole thing. They always say dancers are the clumsiest people, and nobody believes that, but it is very much
because we're just so free with our limbs. They just go everywhere. Yeah, very that.
What was it like to walk in the heels, to have to get used to? I mean, you have to look confident in them, which I could never do.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't really had any heels training. I hadn't done any heels dance classes or anything before this process. But I was so game. I was so up for it. I was so open to it. And I had an amazing heels coach, Sean Niles, who's danced with like Kylie Minogue and stuff like that. So to have him be like by my side, you know, teaching me the ways, teaching me how to walk, and giving me loads of tips and tricks was so important. But my feet hurt. You know, 12 weeks almost. My feet, I've taken a break now. I'm in trainers today.
Nice.
So I'm going to be sticking in trainers for a little while.
What was it like to see the full drag look, to see how that would look like on you, to get to do the first drag performance? What was that whole experience like?
It was really exciting. I'm a huge fan of Drag Race. So I was so excited to see myself looking as amazing as so many of the queens that I've looked up to over the last, you know, few years, but also incredibly daunting. You know, when drag happens, it takes over. So, you know, you're really like conscious of like people reacting to you and how it's making them feel, and you know, it spurs you on a bit when you can see, you know, someone's a little bit, you know, scared or a little bit like infatuated with your beauty. You know, it does something to you. It makes you feel powerful.
Yeah, it feels very otherworldly and magical.
Yeah, the thing I like in drag queens too is like, you know, your favorite like animated character when you go see them at a theme park and they're dressed up in these costumes. That's for me, like that's what drag is. It's play, it's character, and that's why I'm such a huge fan of it, because you can actually meet these people in real life and they're real and they exist.
I love that Jamie wins people over by just being himself, by being fully okay with that and making no apologies for that.
Yeah.
How freeing do you think that really is for him, especially, having that moment at the dance?
Yeah, a lot of his stuff, I'll call it, his internal world is built up to that moment, to that dance. Because as well as, the community around him shifting and having their thoughts and feelings about him, I think he truly goes through a change in how he sees himself and in this film. And I think for him, that moment of, one of his, you know, do I think Miss Hedges, opposed to Jamie? No. Do I think that she's just trying to, let a kid know that they can't always be the center of attention. They can't always do that. Yes. And Jamie has to go on that process of, learning that he has to take his place and also make room for others. And that's what that moment is, and I think I think that realization comes at the prom when he arrives in whatever he arrives in. And I suppose that moment of joy when all of his classmates are sticking up for him is he probably feels, well, he definitely felt very supported by his community around him, which all of them took a shift. They all saw him do the show and all of that stuff. So, it's a lovely moment in the film.
Yeah. Have you thought about where you go from here and what the next step for you is? How are you looking to approach this whole acting thing now?
Oh yeah, I'm approaching it head on. I've been really lucky over the last year in the pandemic. I've shot a few more films, which I can't talk about, unfortunately, because they're not announced. But this film has been a true springboard for me into the world of acting, and I just continue to grow and learn and do things that challenge me, and hopefully the work that I do moving forward challenges me as well as an audience.
When it comes to roles and projects, do you have things that you want to do, or is it more about knowing what you don't want to do and being open to everything else?
I think I'm just quite open. I do know that I want to do like some sort of superhero movie. I know that I want to do a biopic that isn't musical, that maybe is like a sports person or a fashion designer of some sort, because it would just be really cool, because I love having anchors that are really real to really draw inspiration from. So something like that would be great. But I'm so open. I think saying yes a lot is really good, especially when you haven't got a lot of experience, and I trust the people that I have around me to guide me in the right direction. So I'm really very, very open.
When it comes to a superhero movie, would you want to be a hero or a villain?
I think I would want to be a hero, but I think I would be a good villain.
Seems like the villain thing is so much fun. It seems like the costumes are much more fun.
Yeah, I want the costume. I want to fly, probably. What else do I want to do? Loads of all the stuff, all the tricks on wires and stuff, which is again stuff cinematically that I haven't done just yet. So yeah.
Do you also see yourself wanting to do things behind the camera, get into producing or directing?
Yeah, so I write music, and I'm writing a screenplay at the minute as well. So like I'm a creative person at heart, so I'm definitely exploring all of that sort of stuff. Right now, like I'm focused on the acting thing, and I am gonna hopefully go into other avenues the later I get on in my career and the more experience I have. But I've got stories to tell, and I'm gonna tell them. So yeah.
It's also the best hands-on film school to be.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
You certainly learn a lot when you're surrounded by it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me. You're really so terrific in this. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It was lovely talking to you too.